And then I would know when he snapped, because he used to snap. So I knew he has snapped. So I started literally running away from him. He took the thermos full of tea, and he threw it at me. It burst like a bomb.
My story.
My story.
My story is a place of hope and healing for all people, men, women, veterans, young adults, teenagers, and even children. Everyone, regardless of their social status or sexual orientation. It is a place of motivation and inspiration. My story will talk about real life situations and real life stories, because no one is immune to stress, depression, anxiety, and other mental health problems, and our stories resonate. My name is Grace Ngere, Suicide Awareness and Prevention Advocate.
Okay, so your daughter was in
he was in boarding school in high school, so he didn't want to go, so I had to go alone. So he escorted me, he drove me to where matatus, I would get matatus, the matatus to the school, because it was in Kinangop. So when we were on the way, we started, he started saying things that were not really. Now I asked him, now why are you saying, that, we differed again. So I didn't support him. So no, when I
So you went with Matatu?
Yeah, he was taking me, he was driving.
Oh, okay.
But he was dropping me at the Matatu.
Oh, okay.
This is this was the main bus terminus.
Okay.
Machakos.
Okay.
Machakos bus station.
Yeah.
So he went and dropped me there. As I left, I don't know what he thought. He shouted at me. So, and then he thought, no, he wasn't satisfied. He came and hit me.
In the bus? Or
bus station.
Oh my God.
He started kicking me, hitting me, nini, what? And then the Makangas came and told him, mzee, utamuua. Can you imagine?
In front of, okay.
He almost tore my clothes. And I was going to visit my daughter. My daughter, of course, didn't know. Because after he left,
you wiped,
I wiped myself of the dust.
And you went.
But I was so embarrassed. Oh my God, I was so embarrassed. And I always thought I should move. Actually, the other person who helped me to move was my lawyer. It came to a point whereby now he was destroying the school. So I went to court, and because the school was in my name, everything was in my name, except the land. The land where the school stands was in his name.
I see.
So I went to court. At least I thought maybe the court would intervene and, So when I went, he went with a lawyer. He had his lawyer, a man, and I had my lawyer, a lady. So it's like this thing was never gonna have, an ending. Because you'd bring this, then you'd bring this, then you'd bring this, then. So my lawyer asked me, how do you live with this guy? We were even discussing here with his lawyer, and we were wondering, how can such a beautiful girl, subject herself to such?
I know.
And then she asked me, do you want a divorce? And then I thought, yeah, I want a divorce. I thought about it, and I said, if I divorced, I started seeing some light, if I'm divorced, this guy, I would be out of this guy's hands, I would be at peace, I would be, So I said, yes. Do you know, she worked out the divorce. She sent him a letter, he refused to come. So because I had a lawyer, the divorce was before the judge,
Yeah.
and because he refused to pick the whatever, he didn't sign the papers.
Yeah.
He had vowed he would never divorce me, so that he can be controlling me, however he wants. But then she was a strong lawyer, and she went there,
Yeah.
and when he did not appear, and he was given the whatever to appear in court,
Yeah.
and he refused, the divorce went through.
Wow.
So he didn't even know that I had the divorce.
Yeah.
So when we went, after some time, when I went for matrimonial property for the division, then that's when he learned that I had divorced him. He was very angry,
I can imagine.
but at least I was released
Yeah.
from that marriage.
Yeah.
I don't know, when a woman is abused, we are unable to get out of that abuse. We think we shall not survive. We think I'll not be, and in fact, then you think about the children, but your stay there makes the children go through trauma. Because I remember my third born, she said, "Mom, run! He's going to kill you. He's definitely going to kill you." But when I lingered, she said, "Mom, we know now. Now we know." That is the face she put. We know now that you cannot live without a man. A man is your God.
Wow.
She said
From a
that.
child.
Yeah. We know now. Dad is not just a man to you. He's your God. You worship him. Oh my goodness, that word made me think. I'm worshiping this guy,
And from your child.
and it was from my own child.
Wow.
I decided no. But then when I had said yes, I'm going, I couldn't go.
Yeah.
That's when I saw my daughter cry
Yeah.
so much. And my friend stopped talking to me.
Yeah.
And I thought maybe I should go.
Yeah.
And for real, the truth is, I'm in a better position now. God has blessed me
Amen.
with so many things.
Yes.
So many things that probably I wouldn't have thought of.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So when you now you leave the marriage,
Yeah.
and first of all your fears. How are your fears now? Now you're alone with your kids. Probably no money, not enough money as you were used to having money.
Yeah.
How do you survive this even before we go to where you were about all the blessings you've had?
Yeah.
But this immediately, so that you can encourage this lady right here. And even men. I think even men sometimes go through
Oh yeah.
through stuff.
Yeah.
They don't know how to live.
Yeah.
So either way, I think it's both ways.
Yeah.
So tell them, how did you survive that? Your fears. How did you survive your fears?
Actually, I was so fearful. I was so afraid before I left. They say that if you have a phobia, you can be, to remove the phobia, you can be confronted with what you fear.
Right.
Just like I had a child who had a fear of chicken. She had a phobia of chicken, and actually animals.
Yeah.
So one time, the chicken was brought without her knowing, and it was brought to her, and when she turned, the chicken was here. So, and it was put on her, and then until now, when she was confronted like that, the fear left.
Yeah.
So the fear was, what is going to happen? But when you're in that situation, you even wonder, what was this that I was fearing? Because God takes care. I am so afraid of the unknown. But when you go to the unknown, when you confront the unknown, you realize, yeah, it wasn't even a big deal. Okay, I went through a lot of, I didn't have money, I had a child, but God came through.
Yeah.
I remember I started selling juices, and one time I would even, these sugarcane juices,
Yeah.
my daughter bought me a machine, We imported it
Yeah.
from India. And when it came, we were making juices and all that, and it gave me a lot of satisfaction because I was making healthful juices.
Yeah.
And I would see many people coming and getting, you know, the complaints they had, the illness they had.
Right.
They would go until actually I would every Sabbath I would go and give a testimony. Somebody came with this ailment.
Yeah.
I gave this person this, and after some time this person came back and
Wow.
you know, whole.
Yeah.
So that was another joy that God gave me. You know, I wasn't getting money.
Yeah.
I wasn't.
But you were looking forward to something. You know, every day you had something to do to keep you even maybe more busy. And
I was busy,
Yeah.
yes, as you say,
Yeah.
and then I was happy to see people
happy.
happy
Right.
and getting well.
Yeah.
And so that gave me satisfaction.
Right.
So it is not only money that can give you satisfaction.
Yeah.
There are many other things, you know,
Yeah.
like what I experienced.
Yeah.
Like I remember there was a lady who came,
Mm-hmm.
and she had very high blood pressure.
Mhm.
She had taken medication.
Yeah.
It was not coming down.
Yeah.
So she heard about me where I was selling the juice
Mhm.
at Kamaki's.
Yeah.
So she came,
Yeah.
and when she came, she really looked sick.
Yeah.
So I asked her. She told me she had lost her husband.
Yeah.
The husband had had an accident.
Mm.
She had and then many things followed
Right.
after the husband died. So that she was unable to overcome that.
Mm-hmm.
So I listened to her, and then I asked her, I remember asking her, do you believe in prayers?
Mm-hmm.
And she said, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I told her, okay,
Mm-hmm.
before I make you any juice,
Mhm.
let us just whisper a prayer.
Mm-hmm.
So we prayed,
Mm-hmm.
and I told God,
Mm-hmm.
you know that when we are in this world, we go through many things that we are unable to handle.
Mm-hmm.
This lady has come here, she has lost her husband, she has lost everything. Now she's losing herself. Please help. Whatever, show me what I'm going to mix for her so that she feels better.
Yeah.
And we said amen. I went and made sugar cane.
Mhm.
I put carrot. I added carrot juice.
Mhm.
I added several things.
Yeah.
My goodness! And she came several days.
Mm.
Oh my goodness! She went to the doctor.
Uh-huh.
Her blood pressure was okay.
Good. Wow.
When I went to church, that was what I was shouting. You know.
Yes.
So it was such joy. So God decided to give me that joy. And then, but then we continued like that, and I wasn't getting enough. So I decided now to come this way.
Yeah.
So when I came this way, many blessings.
Many blessings.
Now let
Amen.
me
Can we come right back? You tell us that part. Hold that thought right there.
before now narrating my experience here.
Yes.
Let me go back to the time I sold the bus.
Mm-hmm.
When I sold the bus, now I had at least 400,000
Yes.
on my head
Yeah.
or in my pocket.
Right.
And I felt like I really had
Mm-hmm.
had money.
Yeah.
Before I left,
Mhm.
I was here in US. I told my daughter, because she was running, Martha, because these problems don't seem to end,
Mhm.
take a little money
Yeah.
and buy me. A pastor had told me about a land
Yeah.
that they were buying. This is Pastor Jugun.
Mm-hmm.
They were buying.
Mhm.
So he asked me, would you like to buy this land? It is
Yeah.
being sold
Yeah.
by a church person.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, oh yeah. I was here in US at that time. I had come to visit my daughter.
Yeah.
So I told my daughter, who was in the school, please take some money because you have an access
Yeah.
of the money,
Yeah.
and buy me and send it
Yeah.
to so and so.
Mm-hmm.
So my daughter went,
Mhm.
took the money, and she paid for that land.
Yeah.
It was 3 acres.
Mm-hmm.
So when I left now home, at least I had 3 acres at
Yes.
Kantafu.
Wow.
Huh?
Mm-hmm.
So I went and I came out of the home. When I went and I got this money, I got now money to subdivide 1 acre of this, because it was 3 acres.
Yes.
I subdivided 1 acre and I sold them as plots. Oh, I got some money.
Oh, wow.
I got some cash.
Yeah.
Good cash.
Yeah.
So I thought, since I have sold the land,
Yeah.
and I don't want to lose it, I don't want to lose my land, I don't want to feel like I lost it,
Yeah.
a whole acre. Let me buy some land
Yeah.
with this money elsewhere.
Yeah.
So a broker came and there was some land he was selling, and in Kambani there. So I gave him, I paid 400,000 for that land. So I bought the land, although I lost because it was fake.
Oh.
It wasn't real. It wasn't, yeah.
Ole.
But I always think that the broker was sincere. He was also conned.
I see.
Yeah.
Wow, wow, wow.
Yeah. So he was conned,
Uh-huh.
and so therefore I lost my money.
Oh, no. Wow.
But God was with me.
Yeah.
I was getting some money from,
Places.
that, like that land. I also later, when my son went to high school, I sold it, and now I have 1.5 acres as we speak.
Yeah. Wow.
And isn't that good?
It is. Yes. Hey.
So there's a God. What we forget is that God does not leave us.
It does.
When we are in chaos, when we are in problems, He's still with us.
Oh, yes. It's always with us.
But I think He allows us to go through such to learn things.
True.
I don't
I
know.
think it's where you were saying sometimes things happen, we think it's the devil,
Mm-hmm.
but it's God in a way.
Yes.
Like to remove you from this to another. I guess it's where they close this door closes, another one opens.
Opens.
Yeah. He comes.
Because I have seen God in my life.
Yeah.
One door closes and I think, no, I'm done. I'm
You're
finished.
done. Yeah.
God, where are you?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So after all this is done, and I know mentally how everything had affected you from childhood to teenage life to marriage life, and we have seen what things you did in terms of what was going on, the things that were negative, that coping mechanisms that you used to cope with your situation. Now, here you are out of your marriage. How are you now mentally? Before now we come to when you relocated.
First of all, let me say this. When I came to US, I came to the church I came to. I thought about, and I asked God, is it not possible that you can give me a second chance in marriage? In fact, I made the lady I was living with, I made her laugh when I told her, I'll not be coming to this church because I have looked around and I don't see anybody that I can have a relationship with.
Yeah.
So I'm going to another church.
Why? Because they all had husbands or what?
There was nobody of my age.
Okay.
It was a youthful church. So I told them, I think I'll go to other churches so that if God wants to bless me with another relationship, it will happen.
Yeah.
So the lady laughed and said, but do you go every Sabbath? Every Sabbath you're going to look for a husband. I said, no, I'm going to look to worship my God.
Yes.
And in case he wants me to have another husband,
he'll give me.
I'll welcome that. So I went first of all to the first church, and people didn't really talk to me a lot. I went to another church. People had an interest in me. So many of them came and said, hi, where are you from? I'm from Kenya, that kind of thing. Then, so I thought that's a good church. And I looked around and I saw people with gray hair. So
You said this is for me.
and
You
I
have
thought-
gray hair though.
And I thought,
Mom, you have
there
gray
could
hair.
be something here. I'm gray haired, so I was looking for somebody with gray hair. I went there, but then another friend of mine had gone to another smaller church. So he told me, come to this church, come and say, here you are going around looking for a church. And I said, oh. So he invited me, I went there. That was Nicholas.
Oh,
Yeah.
Pastor Nicholas.
Yeah. So when I went there,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, it was a small church.
Yeah.
The pastor there was a friendly,
Yeah,
mega
yes.
friendly.
Yes. I know.
Oh dear. So when I went there and he saw me, he was so interested.
Yeah.
Oh, and he showed me a lot of interest and a lot of attention was given to me, and I was welcomed.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, this is a great church. So when I went there several times, the pastor mentioned something, somebody, and he said, oh, I have a friend. I have a friend called so and so.
Okay.
Okay. As I continued, that friend, he
Yeah.
invited that friend to come to his church. So he came to the church and he saw me. Oh, and then pastor had mentioned my name
Yes.
to him.
Uh-huh.
So he knew me when he was coming.
Yes.
And I knew that there was so and so, but I didn't expect him to come that Sabbath. But when I was in church, I just saw somebody, and then the pastor came and introduced me and said, this is so and so. Oh, this is so and so. Then when you mentioned another day, oh, yeah. Oh, all of a sudden, then
Yes.
there was, he had interest. He thought I looked good.
Wow.
Well, it was God. I mean, God can make you look good even when you think you are not looking good.
You know what? Yes, that is true, but you do look good all the time. I always tell you to give me the secret so that when I am there, I'll be like that.
Oh my. So God gave me favor, and He liked me, and he's this kind of people who, if He likes something, he's a go-getter.
Yeah.
So he'll go get it.
He went
So,
and got it.
oh, he came, and and miracles happened. And the second year we got married.
Wow. Amen.
So
I was so happy for you about that. By the way, I think I told you, but I'll tell you again.
yeah,
I was so happy. And this even answers the question I did ask you.
Yeah.
So I feel like you were healed then.
oh,
You
yeah.
getting out of there, because you could not
yeah.
have opened to someone else if you were not.
Yeah. I think the complete healing will come when Jesus comes,
It's true.
where we shall never remember our challenges,
Yes.
where we shall never remember, those tears we
Yes,
shed,
yes. That's true.
So, but God gives us healing. Healing that will make you go through, if hand in hand
Yes.
with God. Because we say that challenges never end.
Yeah.
And that is part of life.
Exactly.
If there are no challenges, we would not be in need of a God.
No.
But now, because of the challenges we go through, we turn to God.
Yes.
And we say, oh God, I need you here.
Yeah.
Because we know that we believe that He's a God, He's an able God, and everything is possible with Him.
Yes.
So if there are no challenges, then we would never need God.
True. Truly spoken. Yes. How are you liking this conversation? I hope you're being blessed. Let's come back to conclude, and don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, share, and say something to Miss Rebecca. Tell her something about what you think of her story. Okay? We'll be right back. Your journey has been very interesting, and for me personally, you have touched me, because the way I have seen you from the time I saw you, I knew you back home, and you were very famous, by the way. Yeah, you know, like people who go to Seventh-day Adventist Church, I don't know if there's anybody who doesn't know Mrs. Karaoke. So I knew you, even though you probably didn't know me. Even like a little girl, we knew. Like even your name being mentioned, you know, you can put the face to that name, even though you never spoken. And so what I saw is not what you have talked about. Yes, you know, even like how you began your journey from childhood, and many things that we do when we are grown, or even like things that disturb us mentally. Some of the things or behaviors that we develop come from our growing up, what we experienced. And they can be manifested negatively even, and sometimes positively, you know. So you coming out of all that, you to me, you were a positive figure to me, you know, like a role model. I have seen you just exude joy, you know, you're just a happy person. You're the biggest storyteller I know of. When it comes to children's story, you were doing it like perfectly. And I just had a liking for you, and just the way you carried, you know, sometimes it's just how people carry themselves. Just the way you carried yourself, we just connected. I feel like we connected for some reason. And I saw you like a mother figure to me.
Thank you.
And I'm so impressed by your story, because your difficulties did not stop you from going and getting what you want. And even having a hard marriage did not stop you from going and getting another one, which now you are in another beautiful and happy one. Right?
Very good.
So it is a lesson to us. Because you start hard doesn't mean that's the end. If your life right now is hard, doesn't mean this is the end. Keep going, keep pushing on, keep moving forward. We have a perfect example here from Mom. And so tell us, as we conclude, tell us about that healing journey. You know, tell us, just conclude by telling us your healing journey, and just out of curiosity, how is your relationship with your mom now also? So as you answer that, figure out where to put it in your healing journey.
That's a good question. Earlier on, I told you that when I came at age 11, when I came now, I joined my parents. My mother. My father was always away, so we didn't have commotion with him. But the person I had commotion with was my mother. And I interpreted that as my mother hated me, and she hated me so much. That is what I thought. Until even sometimes I would see if something bad happened to me. One time I saw my mother crying, and I went somewhere and I wondered, you mean she can cry? How can she cry that I have had a problem? I couldn't believe
she was
it.
crying for you.
Yeah, she was crying for me.
Wow.
So, but I thought she was pretending. That is how much I distrusted my mother. I thought she's pretending, you know. Because my mother also had said a few things to me that were really traumatizing, because in her anger, because of my actions. So, but when I got now married, I got my first baby. That was okay. I didn't even think about my mother so much. But when I got my second baby, I went through hard labor, and then something just came to my mind. And my second born, I named her after my mother. And then I thought, oh, this is my girl. I've named after my mother. So I started thinking about my mother. And I thought, is this what my mother went through? And all of a sudden, that hatred that I had towards my mother, it melted. And I started looking at my mother, you know, my mother in another way. And I saw, and I started looking at all my life with my mother, how she had struggled, the struggles that I did not acknowledge, the struggles that I did not, you know, appreciate. I didn't even I didn't acknowledge actually those struggles. They started coming out to me. She was a sickly person, and I started thinking, oh my God. And then I started thinking also how I behaved, what I said to my mother, and all that. And I really felt so bad. And I thought, no. So I started calling my mother. I started talking to my mother. She saw change. And then, 2000, in the year 2000, I had all my children. My 5 children. My mother got sick. She had cancer of the lungs. At first, we thought it was asthma because she was out of breath all the time. So we looked for somebody for a good doctor in Nairobi who could treat her. She was living in Nakuru. So I took her and brought her to my own home. And so therefore every evening after work, I would take my mother because she was going to get an injection. We took her to the doctor. So she was treated until now. They thought, no, this can't be asthma. So more tests were done, and that is when they realized she had cancer of the lungs. And I stayed with her, and when she heard that it was cancer, she didn't take it well. I remember this day that my mother this was revealed to her. We went to the doctor. It was my sister. My sister was there, my elder sister and I, and my brother, and another sister of mine. We were 4 of us. So we took her to the doctor. At that time, we had known that mother is suffering from cancer, but the doctor now wanted to reveal it to her. So first of all, we debated. Do we want her to know it, or should it be hidden from her? You know how we are. It's not like here. So half of us, because we were 4, half of us wanted my mother to know. They said she's a strong woman. Half of us, 2 of us, were on the
It's not good.
let her not know it because she's hopeful. She always told us, no, I'm going to get healed. I'm going to be okay. I'll be fine. So I didn't want that hope to be killed. So I said no. But then, eventually, at the end, we accepted. We agreed. Okay, let her just know. So my mother, I still remember we went in with my elder sister to the doctor. The doctor sat there, my sister was there, my mother at the middle, and I was here. So I wanted to see. You remember those days that I wasn't a friend of my mother? Now it's like I want to embrace her in all ways, So I am so keen. I don't want my mother to get hurt. I want, I want to guard her, So I looked at my mother. I believed she was strong. So the doctor started the story, and he disclosed it was a man. He disclosed, and my mother was listening, and my mother went, oh. What I saw is that I saw my mother open her bag, and she took out a handkerchief, and she blew her nose. Immediately I started crying. I said, my mother is crying. My mother was not ready for this. So I cried terribly. So that was a Thursday. And my daughter was in hospital. I don't know for what reason. When my mother was about to die, my children got sick. They were leaving hospital. They were being admitted in hospital, one after another. I started with my firstborn, Ruth. One time she started vomiting out of blues. She vomited. We thought no. We tried everything. She vomited. She was in college. She was at the university that time. She was doing nursing. She didn't know what it was. She vomited. She vomited. She vomited until we had to rush her to the hospital. She went there. She was admitted. And then my mother now here we have known that my mother has cancer. When my daughter left hospital, my last born got sick. Vomiting, fever, what? My goodness. The moment my daughter came out of the hospital, we took my last born. This is first born, last born to the hospital. Then my mother now goes and this is disclosed to her. So she comes. When she comes in the evening, she says, at that time now, my little boy had come out of the hospital. Ruth, my firstborn, had gone back. Another admission, a second admission. So when my mother was told that she had cancer, when we were going home, she said, I'm not going home. We are going to get Ruth out of hospital. I'm not leaving her in hospital. We had to go and tell the doctors, release her. My mother is unwell and she wants that girl home. She was released. So when she was released, my mother told me, no, Becky, because it's cancer and I'm not healing, let me just go and rest when I'm at home. Because she had seen how much I wanted to be with her, you know. And at that time, because I was staying with my mother, one time we were just happy and I went and told her, Mom, you know something? When I was little, this is what happened. I felt you treated me like this. You said this about me. You did this about me. This is what I was getting from your brother. I thought you hated me. And she said, oh, my daughter, you thought I hated you? Oh, when I did that, you thought I hated you? When I said that, you thought I hated you? Oh, she told me, we hugged. And she told me, Mom, my daughter, I'm sorry. If that is what you felt, I never thought that is how you felt. I'm so sorry. Have you forgiven me? And I said, Mom, I have forgiven you. Then I turned to her and told her, Mom, I don't also think I was one of your best kids. I remember I said many nasty things back to you. Mom, will you forgive me? And she said yes. So when cancer was disclosed, we were now open to each other. We were good friends. Oh, I every time when I was away from my mother, I just wanted to come back home and see her and we talk. I remember whenever I was going to her room, I would say, Kogo maito na hunyo wake. And my mother would, tears would roll down. So that's the time when we talked and I told my mother about the issues that I went through with her. And when she said sorry, I healed. And she healed. But unfortunately, it was Thursday that it was disclosed to her, and she told me now she would go back home. So she was driven back home on Friday. On Saturday morning, it was Friday. That Friday she went home. She slept. Then the other night, the Saturday night, my mother died.
Oh, I'm sorry.
She left my home on Thursday, and she died on Saturday night.
Wow.
My sisters were with her and all that.
So sorry about that. So it had advanced, the cancer?
Oh, the cancer was at its last stage. And when I think she gave up hope. Because when she heard that it was cancer, we know we have a belief at home that cancer is never healed.
Yes.
So she lost hope.
That was it.
Because she even told me, now there is no need. because it is cancer. It's never going to heal.
Yeah.
She suffered
Yeah.
a lot.
Wow. So
Now, when she died,
Mhm.
I mourned the longest.
Can you
They
imagine?
say that when you're friends, when you're in your relationship, you're good friends, and one of you maybe now rests
Yeah.
in death,
Yeah.
the one left overcomes the grief faster. He's able to grieve shorter
Yeah.
than the one who was differing. Every time my sister, we were wondering what shall we do about my sister, because my sister and my mother were like this. We thought my sister is gonna die. But to my shock, my sister didn't seem to mourn, to grieve.
Yeah.
You know why?
Yeah.
Me, when my mother was dead,
Yeah.
I would remember incidences where probably I said something bad, and that would crush my bones.
Yeah.
And I would be sad, and that would make me cry.
Yeah.
My sister there would remember nice times.
Yeah.
My mother told me something like this funny.
Yeah.
She would laugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Laughter is medicine to the bones. So for me, I was so crushed by my mother's death.
Yeah.
And I took a long time. One time I thought I was gonna die. Had I not talked with my mother, had we never had that discussion, I think I would have died.
Yeah.
But it helped me a lot. But even despite that, I remembered these bad incidences. I shouldn't have told my mother that. She was my mother. She was my mother.
Yeah.
This thing of blaming myself would come back.
Yeah.
I've been such a, I've been a devil.
Yeah.
So it would come back.
Yeah.
So it took so long also again
Yes.
to forgive myself.
Yeah. Yeah. Forgive yourself.
Sometimes I would remember my mother would ask for something and probably I would forget. So now this time it would come and I would say, oh my God, no. I remember she told me to bring her, there was a time she told me to buy her bones, the bones to boil.
Yeah.
But I forgot. I remembered when she had left. That almost killed me. I would feel so guilty.
Yeah.
That guilt.
Yeah.
And yet we had talked.
Yeah.
So again, that now took me some time. It took me longer. My brother loved his mother. But he grieved. He was able to overcome his grief.
Yeah.
Me, it went on and on
Yeah.
and on and on. So it is very good to make sure that in your relationships that you're good,
Yeah.
And it is also good to have joyful moments together because you never know.
Yeah.
So that when one maybe is away,
Yeah.
you don't grieve forever.
Forever. Yeah.
You grieve with a smile, you grieve without, without things coming back and,
Yeah.
So that is,
Wow.
yeah. But I want to say that, as I said, you grieve, but God brings it to an end. Now I remember my mother with more smiles than tears.
The good memory.
Of course, Of course, sometimes you remember. Something will happen and then you remember your mom and then, oh my goodness, I wish she were. Sometimes I imagine if she were here. But she died 2000.
2000.
Yeah, the year 2000.
Wow. At least you reconciled.
We
That-
did.
that
We
was
did.
most
Oh, we
important.
talked and we reconciled. And she was humble enough to tell me, my daughter, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
If that is what you felt, I
Yeah.
didn't know.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
I think it's also very important for us now to be very mindful of what we say to our children
Oh yeah.
and to
oh,
each
yeah.
other
oh,
too,
my.
right?
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. It is so important.
Yeah. Wow. You know what? Thank you. I don't have any other words, but thank you for being vulnerable. It does not take a weak heart to do that. and you didn't even have to, but out of your goodness, the goodness to help that one person over there with your story, because you have touched so many just by talking like this. Everyone who will watch, they'll be touched, and hopefully they can, if they're in your situation, they'll know they are not by themselves. They can overcome that. They can overcome that. So thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. May God bless you more and more, because He has already blessed you. Next time you'll come here with your Mr. Handsome, hopefully. Because that is the big hope too, that you know, we can always look for something else in the future. If this thing here right doesn't work, this always, you can have that openness that something else will come. So thank you. May God bless you.
Welcome. Thank you.
And thank you for watching, and see you in the next video or next story. Bye bye.
Bye bye.